In den sogenannten Qualitätsmedien wird
Sözde kaliteli olarak bildiğimiz medyalar, yeni nesil 5G cep telefonları ile ilgili coşkulu bir rapor veriyor. Onlara göre Almanya cep telefonu kapsamı açısından geride kaldı ve büyük bir ekonomik sitesi olarak kesinlikle kesintisiz cep telefonu kapsamına ihtiyacı varmış. Onlara göre daha fazla beyaz alan olmamalıdır. 5G özerk yaşamaya izin vermeli, süt şişesi boşaldığında bizi otomatik olarak uyaracak ve geleceğimiz için varoluşsal olacaktır deniliyor. Seni bugün acil bir çağrı yapmak için çağırıyoruz. İşte 5G'nin temel tehlikeleri. 4G'den 5G'ye geçmenin 3G'den 4G'ye atlamaya benzer bir sonraki adım olduğunu düşünen herkes büyük bir hataya maruz kalıyor. Çünkü 5G devasa bir kuantum sıçramasını ve doğada ve insanlık tarihindeki en ciddi insan müdahalesini temsil ediyor. Almanya'ya 5G kurmak için yaklaşık 800 bin yeni vericiye ihtiyaç var. 5G daha önce hiç görülmemiş bir ölçekte altyapı geliştirilmesini gerektirir. 5G için şehir operatörleri her 100 metrede bir yüksek radyasyonlu cep telefonu anteni kurma mecburiyetindedirler. Büyük bir anten ormanı, yani bir radyasyon tsunamisi. Kısa dalga radyasyonuna rağmen 5G'nin yeterli işleme gücüne sahip olması için iletim gücünün 1000 kata kadar arttırılması gerekir. Yani 5G iki şeyi ifade ediyor. Her yerde bulunan mikrodalga antenleri, radyasyon yoğunluğunda çarpıcı bir artış, tüm insanların zorla ışınlanmasındaki bu üstsel artış, insan sağlığı üzerinde sorumsuz bir deneyim.
And I think this is something that everyone deserves to hear about. I really am sorry I have to do this. It's just where we're at. I hope I don't annoy you. Today I want to bring you some insights regarding the cause and the symptoms, okay? Note the word symptoms of CV that you have probably not yet heard. And no, this isn't about some patent or some P4 lab close to the seafood market, but it's about something far more profound. It is concerning the impacts, such as the inability to breathe, such as having a cough with no phlegm. Rather odd for pneumonia, wouldn't you say? And things like suddenly falling over with no other signs of philanthropy by donating FIVEG equipment to that. Everybody heard about the hospital that went up in 6 days, right? Did you hear that they donated the equipment to it before they even were functioning? Oh, isn't that nice of them? There were tons of articles all over the internet I was able to find talking about the hospitals being completely set up with this frequency bearing technology. Now, what does it do? For those of you who don't already know, in 2015, over 200 scientists from 41 different countries already communicated their alarm to the United Nations, to the UN, and to the WHO. By 2019, 26,000 scientists had signed the petition calling for a moratorium, an urgent and complete halt to the FIVEG rollout due to its having been proven, quote, harmful for humans and the environment. And in response, they got a big, fat nothing burger. And while the WHO has named that EMF contamination in occupational and residential areas can be a stress factor, they have done nothing and have no plans to encourage the public toward the eradication of these fields at all. So, FIVEG, specifically the 60 gigahertz frequency that is being used in CH right now, and by the way, which is slated to be released all across America, has very specific biological impacts that very few people realize, and some I've been able to piece together and will be presenting to you here in this video. How these impacts from this radiation can perfectly mimic the pandemic that everyone is up in arms about. While you will see truly viral, non-stop news feeds pushing out the fear, the virus coverage. And while it could be true, like I posted in my last video of leaked footage, that CH is underreporting these numbers, what they are not telling you, and they will not tell you, are legitimate reports on the road of exactly what symptoms these people are experiencing, because then you too can start to put it together. But also, you're not going to see any correlation of the timing of this outbreak to the release of the 60 gigahertz frequency. So we know that 60 gigahertz has been released all across China because, like America, they too have decided to make that specific millimeter wave unlicensed. Why does that matter? Just like the FCC allocated 2.4 gigahertz to be unlicensed, which is why all your Wi-Fi routers, your landline cordless phone, even your baby monitors are running on 2.4 gigahertz microwaves. Because the companies that make products that run on microwaves, they don't want to pay a separate license fee to use it. And so what people don't know is that the FCC didn't just randomly pick 2.4 gigahertz. In fact, it was selected by this entity right here. Look at your screen to see it because I'm not going to say it. Right, these guys were responsible for its selection. Do you know what other products they make? Now, this 2.4 is a frequency known to cause these problems I won't go into now, but my point is, in the same vein, 60 gigahertz is also selected to be the next unlicensed frequency, and so we the people will be bombarded with it. That means to me, we need to know what it does. What does it do? Well, not surprisingly, that's also something you have to dig very deep for. So for just a second, can we just all ponder for a moment that every single one of us, by the time we were in junior high, learned and were tested on the work of Louis Pasteur, right? But none of us learned about Nikola Tesla in school, did we? No. Who is Nikola Tesla, you ask? You may know about good old Elon Musk and his car, but do you know who the actual Tesla was? Oh, only the inventor of the AC current. Yeah, that stuff coming out of the socket in your wall that powers everything in your house. He invented x-rays. He invented radio. Yes, he did, 4 years before Marconi. He invented the remote control. Let's just have a moment of silence for that invention alone. He invented the laser. He invented the electric motor. The list goes on and on. He was even responsible for bringing us wireless communication, which I feel pretty sure he would not be wanting to be used against us as it is all now. But considering he died alone, penniless, in a hotel room right before his work was confiscated, none of this is terribly surprising. My point is, we are being educated on the forms of science that they want us to consider valid, while keeping our education limited on those forms of science that may expose what they're trying to accomplish. We have PhD level biological and chemical scientists coming out of our ears, but there is no such thing as a PhD in magnetobiology. What's magnetobiology? Exactly. It's the study of how electromagnetic fields, like 2.4 and 60 gig, have impacts on the human body and all biology in general. Like bees, key to our food chain. Wouldn't you think that the study of the very fields that have been exponentially increased upon all of us would be something that these groups would be funding? You would think, but they're not. Anyway, I digress. So, the impacts of 60 gigahertz are not widely published information, but here's what I can tell you. And it's in part, ironically, from the promotional material of the big telecom companies themselves. Here it says, 60 gigahertz has a very distinct impact on none other than oxygen itself. Yes, here are the articles released by companies who are touting the benefits of 60 gigahertz. They openly admit that 60 gigahertz is absorbable by oxygen. You can see in this graph here its impact on oxygen. All the frequencies before 60 gig are not impacted. Then once it hits that frequency, it spikes and becomes hugely absorbed by oxygen. Now in this article by the companies selling products that are going to run on 60 gig, they say that it's going to help its interference levels. Oh, isn't that nice? They don't want your first shooter video games to lag. And most of us know from mainstream releases promoting FIVEG that things like water and trees are going to get in the way of this frequency. So how in the world does this even make sense that we are using it? Unless their intentions are something else besides